Hey, all you beautiful folks out there. Today I am joined by Mr. Edgar Hernandez, a restaurant owner, entrepreneur, and personal friend of mine. That's an amazing human being. The dude has some really good stuff to say. He has tons of energy, and we covered a lot of ground telling his story, his food's inspirations and aspirations, see what I did there, as well as giving us a glimpse into the habits of a 7-day-a-week working business owner. If you're in the ABQ area, make sure you check out one of the locations of Edgar's Mariscos Altamar. Mariscos is Mariscos rather, and Altamar is Altamar. There's one off of the freeway in Las Lunas and the other one off the freeway in Coors in Albuquerque. Check out these guys on social media under the same name, Mariscos Altamar, as well as mariscosaltamarabq.com for all their eats and cool stuff they do over there. Hope you kids enjoy the episode. Apologies for the delay. I was doing some summer stuff, some summer family stuff, did a little bit of traveling, saw some family out there in Kansas. Going to be doing a backpacking trip coming up, so tried to make this summer one of those packed ones. So yeah, but I should be back at it every 2 weeks. So happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all of our armed servicemen and women, both past and present. And I hope this episode motivates and inspires you fine cats out there. Cheers.
Cool. So welcome to Perch a Birds podcast. I got Mr. Edgar Hernandez on the mic. Say hello to all those
Mr. Morgan.
What we're doing here today is we're basically trying to talk to my first entrepreneur podcast, and I've yet to actually do one where we're like, talking about a business owner and how you got here, and maybe like some tips for somebody that has always wanted to do something like that,
okay,
but has never had the balls, or maybe just the basic insight to even think about where would somebody start with that. And then, additionally, the restaurant business is different than just like retail or even starting a business out of your home or on the internet or something like that, because you have a whole machine that has to operate. So I thought it'd be really cool to bring you on, because a lot of times when we look at the restaurant business, you're just seeing it through the eyes of the person that's going to eat. You don't actually see it from the owner, from the ordering side of it, and the wages and all the pieces of it. I mean, even the food is really the basis of why you go to a restaurant. You know what I mean? And
Correct.
If your food sucks, no matter how much effort you put into all the other stuff, nobody's going to go eat at your restaurant.
Correct.
Close the doors.
Right.
So I guess the first question I'd like to ask you is, what got you started in the restaurant business?
Okay. So I was born into it, right?
Okay.
So a really interesting story is my dad started the company back in 1997. So I was 7 years old.
Okay.
Right. And I can remember as far back as I can, to being there all the time.
Yeah.
After school, going there, doing homework, trying to hang out with the cooks, and help them do whatever I could. Cook something, burn myself, cut myself, do it, you know. And
a lot of firsts there is what you're saying, like in life.
Yeah, for sure. Just being around it forever, And I think it was just growing up in it. It's what I learned. It's what I knew. It's what I had a passion for. I think because I was just around it so much, But I think at the same time, had I not been, I think I'd still be, lined to that, because I've always had a passion for, food and the service industry.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think that's definitely what it's almost like destined, because it's funny. My dad we'd go into meetings, or, I'd go with him obviously everywhere.
Yeah.
To go buy supplies or food or something,
Yeah.
And he'd be like, I was a 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid. Yeah, he's next up, he's going to take over the restaurant
cool.
one day. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It's never going to happen. And then you fast forward 15 years and here I am opening a restaurant when I was 22,
Right.
So I'm like, what the heck?
That's huge. I didn't know you were 22 when it opened. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's crazy. It's super young. It's crazy because now, like, I have a son now, and he's 3 years old.
Okay.
Right.
Congrats,
and
man. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I have a 3-year-old kid, and I'm like, in 19 years, could I see myself gambling everything that my dad gambled on me to open a restaurant?
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
But in the same sense, I mean, I feel like like some kids when they're growing up and they have parents that own a restaurant or a business, should I say, sometimes they're not into it. Like they don't want to be that person, you know what I mean? And maybe that's going to be how your son turns out, you know what I mean? But in the same breath, this is like you said, like you liked it, you know what I mean? Like you were into it. And I feel like it was just a natural progression of the thing. Cause I mean, he must have instilled a lot of the stuff that you now, you know, at that point, or then should I say, you were kind of taking it for granted because you didn't realize that it was going to be kind of like weaponized and usable when you open your own restaurant. You know what I mean?
No, that's totally how it happened. And the cool thing is that it wasn't forced upon me.
Yeah.
You know, my dad never told me, hey, this is what you're doing.
Right.
Never and never, you know, and I think that's awesome because all he wanted us to do was go to school.
Yeah.
Go to college, get a degree. He's like, and that's all I want for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, and he actually didn't even want the restaurants for us. He's like, I know it's a lot of work. He's like,
but he was successful at it, right? Like
exactly,
the Mariscos that's off of Coors. And I don't know if I've actually even said the name of the restaurant. It's Mariscos.
Mariscos Altamar.
And that's Mariscos. Okay.
Mariscos.
And then there's one off of Coors.
Coors and I-40, southbound.
Right. And then there's the one that's here in Las Lunas.
The one in Los Lunas is my store. And we've been here for our 6-year anniversary in October of this year.
Okay. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So my dad's goal, his dream, you know, as an immigrant coming to this country was for his sons to go to college. You know, my dad dropped out in, I think it was like 6th grade.
Yeah.
You know, so he has no education, you know, just hard work, grit, you know, and he's like, I want my kids to go to college. Okay. So went to college, graduated, got a job offer up in Utah, Salt Lake City. And I told my dad, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I was like, I want to give it a shot, see if I like it.
Yeah.
He was all for it. He's like, awesome, you know? And I think about 2 months in, I called my dad and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, get me out of here. I was like, I can't do this. And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't like your job? Or I did it, you know? I was like, I don't like it.
What were you doing?
I was doing operations for an investment bank.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, you know, just typical
boring,
desk job, you know what I mean? A lot of hours, which is fine. I don't mind working. But I just looked at it in the aspect of, if I'm going to work that many hours and that hard, I think I'd like to do it for myself instead of for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I took a step back and I told myself, I was like, no, I was like, I'm down to work hard. Like I want to work hard.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, but I want to do it for myself.
Yeah.
You know? So I made a phone call. I remember I was in the office and I told my dad, I was like, hey Dad, I was like, get me out of here. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I need to get out. I was like, he's like, what are you going to do? I was like, no, what are we going to do? I was like, we're going to open another restaurant.
There you go.
And he's like, I'm down.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, if you move back down here, it's like, we'll look into opening a second location. So I quit. I didn't even hit an anniversary there. I hit, I think it was like 9-10 months. And
you bailed. Now,
and I left,
were they upset that you left?
No, I think nobody believed me. That's for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember.
You're going to go do what?
Yeah. So it's funny. It's a really funny story. But I remember I'd be like, man, like I just didn't enjoy the work. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I really don't like this. And I think I was becoming somebody who I wasn't. I was starting to become very negative, and I'm like, what is this changing me? And I didn't
corporate
like
life.
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think in one of my rants, you know, I was like, man, I really did like this sucks and blah blah blah. And till somebody, one of my coworkers, called me out. And they're like,
really?
Edgar, like, all right, dude, like, yeah, it sucks, but like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And it's the first time I was called out, and I was like, what am I gonna do? And I already had my plan. I already had my exit plan. I was like, actually, I'm leaving. I'm going to go open a restaurant.
I'm the fuck out.
And this guy was like, you're going to go open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, man. I was like, that's the plan. I was like, I'm actually, you know, I was like real vocal about it because I didn't like that I was called out. And point, you know, he didn't believe me. And so that weekend, just to prove him wrong, I remember I cooked up a storm. I cooked up a storm in my little apartment.
Really?
I cooked up a storm, dude. I went grocery shopping that Friday after work, and I cooked up a storm all weekend, dude. And I remember I showed up Monday, and I mean, I catered for the whole floor. I mean, there was people outside of my team, you know, but I catered for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I made shrimp enchiladas and ceviche and fresh salsas and everything. And because I knew how to cook everything.
Of course.
I mean, you know,
spending all that time in the restaurant.
Exactly. So I knew exactly what I was doing, obviously. And I showed up and I made him eat his words straight up, man. I was
like, how's that taste?
Like, everybody ate it. I was like, what? Like, this is bomb, you know? And he's like, maybe he can open a restaurant. At
Yeah.
least he knows how to cook.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
But that's kind of like one of those lightning bolt moments where you're like, fuck, like, that's right. I do have the ability to do this.
Right,
You know what I
you
mean?
know,
And
and
he just pushed you over that little bit extra
exactly.
you needed, you know?
And no, so then I quit. I moved back. And we bought our location here. It had been closed for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know,
this used to
building.
be Johnny something.
Johnny Carino's.
Johnny Carino's.
This is the Johnny Carino's
which was
building.
never really good. at all.
Right. And we remodeled it in about 3.5 months. And we opened October 2nd. And, the rest is a whirlwind because we've been open for 6 years now. But if you told me, hey, you've been open for 6 months, I might believe you,
Yeah.
because it's gone by that fast.
Wow.
I'm like, what's going on right now?
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Well, and
It's just
speaking,
time is
and speaking to this place, it looks totally different than it did when it was Johnny Carino's.
Right.
And then I noticed one thing which I wanted to bring up with you is I feel like this place is more like it looks like you've got a lot of tech in here. Like you've got like it's like it's a restaurant, but it doesn't feel like, you think of a Mexican restaurant, you don't think that this is going to be a place where it's kind of popping. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you've got like a good stereo system, you've got like
Right.
the lights and stuff like that. And I know other places try to do it, but beyond all of the fluff, which is that stuff, you've also got the good food, which draws the people.
Right.
So the atmosphere, when you come in here, and I think you guys, that I think is what makes Mariscos really cool, is that when you come in here, it's like, there's always something going on. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like even last night I was here shooting some B-roll, right? And you had some mariachis walking around. You had some, there was just a party, it felt like, and it was just a
Right.
Friday night in Las Lunas, and there's
Right.
no other place like this. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you go over to Chili's and it just feels like the table next to you, you don't even want to talk to
Right.
your neighbors. But here
Yes.
it's like people are visiting
It's like a
tables,
big
people
party.
are talking. Yeah, So I feel that family vibe, and
No, for sure.
And I think that's something that that you guys brought to the table by it being a family business. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
because I'm sure that's how the other one works as well, right? I've honestly never been to the other
Correct.
one. I've been into the front door.
Okay.
Because I used to go to me and Edgar used to go to high school together. So
That's right.
I went in the front door and I looked the place around, but back then I didn't have any money. So I was like, oh, this is a real restaurant. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. I'll be But once I came here and ate the first time, I was like, fuck. And everybody that I talked to,
Right.
I try to push them this direction, not only for the food, but also for the atmosphere. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's huge.
Right.
And okay, so you got into the restaurant business that way. I mean, kind of just leapfrogging into it. Were you guys successful right out of the gate?
no,
No?
for sure. No. It's funny because we opened in Los Lunas, based off of demographics, that we thought were, would come to visit our restaurant. When I talk about demographics, I'm talking about the highly Hispanic population, in, what are we calling over here? Cerro Mission, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Meadow
Meadow
Lake,
Lake, yep,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, oh man, if I can have all the, Hispanic people travel from
Right.
down there instead of traveling to Albuquerque.
Sure.
I was like, man, we're going to be so busy.
Yeah.
It's not even funny how busy we're going to be.
It's a made deal.
And man, I still have people every day that come in and they come from Meadow Lake and Cerro Mission. They're like, hey, we didn't know you were even down here,
Really?
And I'm like, what? So that baffles me. So it's funny because we opened it with the intention of, servicing, that demographic, but it's probably the least demographic that we have as far as clientele
Really?
right now. Yeah.
Got a bunch
for
of
sure.
white boys like me coming in.
Exactly. And that's cool. Obviously I don't care,
Yeah.
but I just want to make sure whoever comes in through the door leaves happy.
Yeah.
That's my number one job, and I think that we are filling a void in Los Lunas in the sense of, like you said, it's not only a restaurant, like, of course, yeah, you can come and dine here, but, we're at a point where we're a restaurant bar,
Right.
and a good chunk of our business is bar related, and being that it is a small town, I'd like to think that I have the best happy hour in town,
Yeah.
and that proves to what we can do, being that we are locally owned,
Right.
being that we are the owners, like
You call the shots essentially. It's not some
exactly, I'm
corporate
like,
bigwig
hey,
somewhere.
your competitor, down the street, is a franchise. They're doing so and so. I was like, okay, that's a great happy hour, but mine is about to be better, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome because who benefits from it? It's the customers.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Edgar has a great deal and, so does, the competitor down the street, you know?
Yeah.
So they have options, and which is great, all I do is I try to be the best I can be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? that's just what drives me. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're going to come here, not only are you going to come here because it's cheaper, no, but you're going to have better service. You're going to have a cooler establishment. You know, like you said, a better vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Across
It's
the
just
board.
a lot of things that you won't be able to get anywhere else. You know,
Yeah.
you'd be like, man, I'm at the point where I'm like, I bet you even people overlook the fact that it's cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is cool, but that's not my number one factor anymore.
Right.
I think we've set ourselves apart so much already that people will be like, man, like, not only are we used to going there now, but like we love going there because of it. You know?
Well, you get like those extras because like I really didn't. Once I tried the food here, I came with my family. It was like, oh, that's legit, you know. And then I've come here just to drink before, and it's like, oh, that also. I like all this shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas sometimes you're just looking for a watering hole and you don't really care. But like, I'll buy an appetizer, and that brings me to my next question: food. So, how did you guys? I mean, where did these recipes come from? And not necessarily the recipes, but is this like family developed, I guess, or does this come from like a grandma and a grandma or something like that?
Okay.
How did you guys come up with the menu that you guys have? And then speak to me about like quality, because we ran around yesterday with the camera. You let me go behind the line, and we got to see that everything seems to basically be like homemade as
Correct.
much as it can be in a restaurant.
It is, yes. So the recipes actually came from my dad's partner, which is not a partner anymore. But when they started the restaurant, there was a partner, and my dad was, I say the front of the house. My dad's partner was the back of the house.
Okay.
Right. And very great cook. And we learned everything from him.
Okay.
You know, and that's the truth. But I mean, he knew how to cook.
Yeah.
You know, and what I've done since I came in and I took over is I took a step back and I analyzed the whole menu, you know, from each menu item to each ingredient, you know, and I was like, are we serving the best thing that we could possibly serve?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For example, our shrimp cocktail. We changed the recipe on it probably about right when I opened the restaurant,
Okay.
you know, and it was a menu item that was popular, but in my opinion, it wasn't the best.
Could be better.
It could be better,
Okay.
you know? And it's funny because when I approached my dad on, hey dad, like, could we possibly like look into changing it? You know, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, whether like a pat on the back and be like, yeah, let's do
Right.
it. Or like a
Get some raised
backhand slap,
eyebrows.
you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
what are you thinking? You know what I mean? Like I've been doing this for, at that point, probably like 10, 12 years. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, we don't got to change anything. It's been working, you know, but, you know, obviously being that I approached him, I had an alternative. I was like, hey dad, I was like, taste this, which is what we currently serve, and taste this,
Yeah.
which is what I want to swap it out for, which
Right.
in my opinion was 100% better.
Right.
You know, in my opinion, you know, and luckily he was just like, hey, it is better.
Wow.
Go
Okay.
ahead. And
Yeah.
it was the easiest thing ever. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that easy, you know?
Right.
But so with that being said, like that's one menu item, right? So we changed the recipe on the broth. And now cocktails are like one of our like probably top 5 for sure
Wow.
sellers, you know? And the proof's in the pudding, you know, you pick up a shrimp cocktail dish and the thing goes back empty. Like
Right.
it is like empty.
People
you
are
know?
clearing it out.
So people love it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like I said, the proof's there. You know what I mean? When people like something, obviously they're going to eat it, you know, when people like something, obviously they're going to come.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it's just reassuring, you know what I mean? Just being that, you know, you obviously you get your feedback, you see the dishes, you see the volumes,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like,
Well, and then you
okay.
make a call, and that call ends up being a good one across the board.
Exactly.
It's not like a fuck up, like, ooh.
Yeah. So then we started off with that. I think that was my first, you know, part where I guess I tried to better something in
Sure.
my eyes, and I did. And then I was like, okay, that was easy, you know, to run it through my dad. I was like, maybe I can run with this and do some more stuff, you
Yeah.
know? So then I took, you know, another revision. I was like, well, here we go. Boom, this, that, this,
Sure.
that, you know, and I can just name you like off the top of my head, our shredded beef recipe, our tomatillo recipe, just, you know, stuff that I was like, nah, dad, like this can be better. You know,
Yeah.
it's good,
Right.
but it's not great.
And when you're doing this, are you like going through and finding that you can? I mean, and I don't know, so I guess I'm asking: is there more of the stuff you're making now more homemade rather than you are like you know, not canned?
No,
but, I mean-
everything's always been homemade.
Okay.
I think it's just adding more flavor.
Okay.
You know, it's more dimensional, if you
Okay.
would. You know, I feel like our old partner was very just, you know, akin to certain spices,
Okay.
you know? And I'm like, no, man, you know, in the Mexican culinary world, there's a ton of spices. You got the cumin and all kind, different spices.
Did you ever get any kind of training for cooking?
Never.
No?
I've never gone to culinary school or anything. It's all been self-taught.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm the best chef in the world, but I think I have the best team in the world.
Bro, your food's the best shit.
Exactly.
Town,
you know what I mean?
I put yours up against anybody's.
Dude, no, I agree. And yeah, with that being said, it's just the total confidence in my abilities and my team's abilities.
Yeah.
When I say my team, I'm talking about the chefs that we have at the other restaurant, at this store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys are the masterminds.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I have my ideas and what I envision, and together we get to a goal.
Right.
And we knock it out of the park.
Sure.
So
well, and then you
perfect.
get that. What's cool about the restaurant business is you get instant feedback. Like you can try a dish out,
Exactly.
like on a special or something,
For sure.
and they'll tell you right off the bat. So that kind of ties into my next question for you, because I thought this was an interesting thing. I watch a lot of Kitchen Nightmares, right? Mm-hmm. Or did when it was on, and big Gordon Ramsay fan. So if you had Gordon Ramsay come in the restaurant, for one, what do you think he would rate his food, or what do you think he would rate your food? Excuse me. And then in the same breath, if he's going to sit down and he's going to try to go over your dishes, what would probably be those top 3 dishes that you would serve to him right out of the box?
Awesome. So if Gordon Ramsay came to my restaurant, that'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome. So let's see. What would he think about my restaurant? So let's think about the 3 plates I'd probably present to him and be like, hey man, I want you to try these.
Yeah.
I think for sure I'd probably make him a specialty plate, which is it's our specialty plate, right? It's a sauteed dish with pollock fillets, shrimp, octopus, and snow crab. It's sauteed with onions and peppers and pico de gallo and our house butter and some seasoning. It's delicious, and the way you eat it, it comes on a plate with rice and guacamole.
Okay.
And the way I eat it is I get a tortilla and I put some seafood in it, a little bit of wok and some hot sauce, and it's like heaven, dude. It is so good. I'd present that to him. I think he'd be surprised in the flavors of it, because it is like, a medley of seafood, and I think it tastes Mexican, the spices there, because it has jalapeno, it has cilantro. It's like, it's a lot going on, you know what I mean? But it all comes together so good.
And
you know what I mean?
Is it typical to have seafood with Mexican food? And because I don't see it very often, like the two served like that together at a lot of, I want to say Mexican restaurants, but New Mexican restaurants as well, because we have our own culinary taste in this whole state. You know what I mean? Which pours over worldwide, of course, and just in certain ways. But is it typical to see that, like seafood with the Mexican food? Would that part of it surprise him, you think?
No, not at all. Because I think Mexico is known a lot for its seafood, actually, because the whole country is outlined by obviously the ocean. You know what I mean? So if you are inland, of course, you are more used to your Mexican food, you know, but if you go coastal, you're seeing ceviches. This is where all this comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, it's not surprising what's a bit, so I think like I said, if it was Gordon Ramsay, he'd be like, man, I think he'd be mind blown, because like, this is different, because I think it is different, so that'd be one dish. I'd present to him, our garlic sea bass. Our garlic sea bass, I'll put it up against anything. I love it. It's fresh. It's fresh sea bass. It's fresh minced garlic with freshly cut mushrooms. How can you go wrong?
That sounds good too, bro. You're making me hungry.
Yeah, honestly, I try this stuff and I'm like, man, this is so good. We sell that like no other. It's definitely one of our top 5 dishes as well. To round out, I'd probably present to him a new dish that we just created. That's brand new to our menu as of like last week, just to get feedback, because so far it's been great, and it's a different menu item for us. So I'd like for it to be critiqued, but in my eyes and in the eyes of, I probably sold 100 of them this week,
Really? Wow.
And out of 100, I think 99 or 100 of them are like, whoa, that's like pretty darn good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ceviche nachos. You had them yesterday.
Yeah,
you had them yesterday.
Bro. That was good.
So I just think it's just different, and I think like it's what keeps us exciting. You know what I mean? The fact that, of course, everything that, if you've been coming here since, 1997, it's nothing has changed. You know what I mean? As far as, or unless I guess if you order a shrimp cocktail or certain, menu items. But like I said, in our eyes, it got better.
Yeah,
you know, we're
yeah,
never
yeah.
obviously it's 2 steps forward, never 1 step back.
Right.
You know, so you know, we keep evolving. I think, you know what I mean. So that's what I would present to him, just to be like, hey, this is where we've been. You know, he'd be tracing everything from like a staple from 1997 to, you know, two staples from 1997, and here's like what we're
the current
menu. You know, this is what's going on.
Well, I noticed even, I think I was talking to you last night when we were kind of jamming around in the back, like your menu got smaller, but was it just the physical menu itself, or did you guys reduce in order to like focus more on some certain menu items? Do I have that right?
So when you say smaller, it was page wise, right? So it was like a 5-page menu, right? Yeah. And now it's condensed down to 1 page, 1-sided menu. And the reason for that was, you know, it's backed by trends, you know, that we see in the industry, and we see where things are heading, you know? So yeah, the menu hasn't gotten smaller. No, it's just gotten smarter.
Sure.
You know?
Because that was the thing I was going to say, is that sounds like that to me, that seems like a Gordon Ramsay critique. He'd be like, well, you have all these fucking pages. You
right.
know? Like,
yeah,
he'd want you to have that 1 page.
Let's put it all in front of you here, right
and
now.
that's modern. That's the way that a lot of restaurants are doing things. So that shows some evolution of you guys thinking about the customer and thinking about what they want and modernizing. That's awesome.
Of course.
Man.
Yeah, no, you have to stay ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? I like to travel, you know, in the sense that I like to keep my mind open, you know, where I am in a small town, you know, I am in Los Lunas, you know, I love to go to Vegas. I love to go to LA. I love to go, I've been to once to New York. I was mind blown. I'd love to go back. I just feel like they're so ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? They're calling the shots that are, you know, happening. You know, they're in front of the trends, right? You know, and
well, they have the population, like you said, because you don't hear you have a certain area that you're kind of catering to essentially, but like in a place like LA, like it's so diverse, like, there's so many different tastes that are there, so many niches. You know what I mean? I can see how that.
So what I like to do is like I like to go out. You know, I hit up a bunch of restaurants, and I'm like, what do I like about here? Okay, I like. I'll give you examples. I was in El Paso one weekend, and I was at a restaurant, and they had a beautiful like landscaping done, and I was like, oh my god, it's so nice, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to go up to it because it looked so damn nice. I had to go up to it and like touch it, and I was like, dude, it's fake.
Really?
I was like, this shit is fake. I was mind blown. You know what I mean? So I was like, wait, that's smart. Like, it looks beautiful. Yeah. And there's no questioning. It looked beautiful. You know?
Yeah.
No, I was like, he's saving water.
Right.
You know, there's no maintenance. I was like, why haven't I put fake plants in my stuff? You know what I mean? Like, no, to make it look nicer. Like, it looks dope, you know? Yeah. So I came back and I was like, dude, I'm down. Like, you know, and I did it. And it just one instance for that. That's exterior. You know what I mean? I went somewhere and I saw, what else have I seen? Oh, a place doing, karaoke. And I was like, dude, that's cool. I was like, why can't we do karaoke at my bar? Like, people were having a good time there. I was like, I'm down. I was like, there's nothing else to do in Los Lunas on a Thursday night. Right. And that's like one of my busiest nights. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Interesting. So, a Thursday, huh? On
a Thursday night. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's weird, but hey, it works.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But that's okay. So now you're doing karaoke, you're doing stuff like that. And then additionally, I know that you were telling me that you do catering. That seems like a natural extension. But then you have a food truck also?
Correct. So being in Los Lunas, as of like 2 years ago, Facebook selected the city of Los Lunas for their next data center, which is actually the world's largest data center.
The Facebook data center right here, right?
Yeah. So whenever they selected, you know, Los Lunas, and knowing where it was going to be, we're actually the closest restaurant to it. I was like, man, I got to act. You know what I mean? I was like, we're the closest restaurant. I was like, the closest kitchen to this. I was like, we got to milk this for what we can.
Do you listen to Action Bronson at all, the rapper?
No.
No, he's got this jam, bro, that plays in my head so fucking often, especially with the podcast. He basically says, if opportunity be knocking, you got to let a motherfucker in.
Oh, yeah, basically, man. Is, right? Basically.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. So you got the data center there. So
so then I was like, I'm going to buy a food truck. You know what I mean? I was like, I know it's going to be the biggest construction site, you know, ever in Los Lunas for sure. I was like, I'm down. So I started seeing people come in, you know, I was like starting to look for them, you know, I was like, Facebook, hey, you work at Facebook? Yes, we do. I was like, hey, I have a food truck. You know, I was talking out of my butt, you know, I didn't have a food truck. Yeah, I ordered one. I didn't have it yet, you know? And I was like, hey, who do I talk to if I'm trying to park this thing out there? You know what I mean? Finally it got down to a name. You know, you don't need to talk to so-and-so. Perfect. Called her, was like, hey, I was like, I have a food truck, you know, and luckily, like, my food truck was literally coming in like the next week, I think.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, no, like, it was perfect timing, dude. And she was like, oh yeah, no, we've been looking, you know, for somebody to come out here and, you know, help feed these guys, you know. And she said, when can you start? I was like, next week,
you
know, and perfect, you know. And it was funny because, you know, we did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, maybe, like being like almost like monopoly over there because nobody knew about it. Like, like all the food trucks from Albuquerque, I guess they didn't know, or they didn't know who to talk to or how to get in. So,
plus you're right here. So that's something that they didn't have to work to get at. Drive out.
Exactly. So I was out there 5 days a week, you know, just slanging, you know, mornings and breakfast and lunch. And, you know, it was awesome and it still is, but now it's more, you know, shit hit the fan, you know, everybody in Albuquerque knows about it. So there's a bunch of food trucks that want to come out here and that's cool. You know, hey, I'm all for it. You know, I think that year and a half aged me like 5 years, you know,
but then you're also, your food stands out. I mean,
for sure. Well, I mean, we're still out there, you know, there's been so many food trucks that go out there and they don't go anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Because
the whole line is in front of your truck.
Exactly. Because they're overpriced or their food's not good. Of course. And just obvious reasons, you know? And it's funny because like I told my dad, like, hey, well, remember, like, who was the first food truck out there?
Right.
We were, you know? And who's still out there?
Right.
We are, you know? And there's been no, like, just dozens of food trucks that went and tried it. Oh, man, that's no money out there. Oh, no, dude, they just don't like your stuff.
Right.
There's tons of money out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then you guys are pretty diverse when it comes to the food that you guys serve.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just tacos and burritos or something like that.
Right.
I mean, you guys do a lot of stuff. Is it the full menu?
No. It's actually it's a lot smaller. So when we used to sell breakfast out there, we were selling breakfast burritos. But back to the basics, you know, everything was perfect. You know, it was fresh eggs. You know, we weren't using nothing like egg beaters or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was fresh eggs, like fresh hash browns, like everything was bomb. You know what I mean? And so it's definitely not the full menu. It's smaller because I like it to be more focused. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And was it hard for your cooks to get on top of cooking inside of a truck?
So the operation is small. You know, I had 2 cooks working at that food truck because I mean it is a small operation, but I mean these guys were 2 guys, but they worked for like 4. You know, they held their weight. Yeah, you know, these guys are on top of it. But I think it is different. You know, it's a mobile kitchen. It's small. It's crammed in there. It's hot. You know, it's just the conditions are different.
It's new, right? Isn't it? It's not like a used.
No. It's new. But it's small in there, dude. You're crammed in there. You know, and like I said, you go out there on a summer day, it is hotter than hot in that. You know,
give those guys credit.
It's such a good time. You gotta love the hustle, though. You know, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
How often are you out there cooking?
It's almost. I have to check on these guys all the time.
So one of the big things that I thought would be interesting to kind of tie back in is you're running this kind of fast lifestyle. You're a fast thinker. You're a fast talker. You're all about it. And how do you keep yourself in shape to perform? I mean, that's one of the places that I had ran into you, I think, like pretty often. But when I started thinking about it, I was like, man, this guy's hustling, like running a restaurant. Then I see him at the gym running his ass off, lifting weights, doing shit. Yeah. So with that type of lifestyle, like you're athletic as fuck. I see you always running. So what are you doing to keep yourself in shape? I mean, you eat all the time. I've always wondered how guys do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like Guy Fieri, the dude eats all the time.
Yes.
And he doesn't. He's a love you, Guy Fieri, but you're a heavy set cat. You know, so I don't think he's out there killing the miles like I see you doing. Mm-hmm. So so what do you do to keep yourself in shape and kind of keep like, you know, your body and your mind fresh? What are you doing in your workout time? Right.
No, I mean, I think the key is everything in moderation. Okay. You know what I mean? It's not overeating. It is going to the gym. You know what I mean? I think you have to be, you know, at least fit, you know, to do the type of work that I'm at least the type of work that I'm required to do. I feel like I have to be in this shape. You know what I mean? If not, I'm going to suffer. You know what I mean? And the sense that, you know, I'm going to be tired. I'm going to get in a bad mood and stuff like that. So I feel like it keeps my energy levels perfect. Sure. You know, it keeps me operating optimum. You know what I mean? It just keeps me performing at the peak I need to be performing at. You know what I mean? I need to be alert at all the times. I need to be light on my feet because I am on my feet all day, every day. You know what I mean?
Would you say you work 7 days a week?
For sure.
Okay, so you're constantly fucking going. Yeah. That's legit, bro.
Every day.
Is there anything specific you put into your diet to help? Like, I mean, granted, you eat, of course, a lot of your own food. Right. Is there anything that you lean towards? Like, do you fuck with any of the different types of diets that you could go on? Anything specific? I guess? Right.
I'm probably going about 2 months right now. Actually, experimenting with some new stuff. I cut out. I can't say all animal based proteins, but if I am eating any sort of animal, it's going to come from the sea.
Okay.
So I haven't ate pork, chicken, beef, anything in the last like 2 months.
Okay. See, this is stuff I was curious about. Okay.
And it's just new to me, and I'm not going to try to push it on anybody. And I'm just going to answer because you asked, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but do you feel better? Do you feel like
dude, it's funny. I feel great.
Really?
I feel great. You know, and I'm not going to say, I'm never going to eat beef again.
Yeah.
You know, if I crave it, maybe, you know, I will. But, you know, it's funny because I love to eat. I love to eat. I will be anybody that knows me knows that I love to eat.
Yeah.
You know, so if I were to tell my friends, hey, I'm not eating beef, they'd be like, the heck's wrong with you?
Like,
you know,
you run a Mexican
Edgar,
restaurant, dog.
You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I mean? But I haven't, you know what I mean? And I feel great. I feel like my energy levels have been spiked, honestly. So I've already felt great, but I feel even better now. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, like I said, I'd only push it on somebody if they asked for it, you know, but I think it'd be because I do feel great and I would want somebody to feel the same as I do. You know, I cut out, you know, mostly all dairy. You know,
really?
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Okay, so you're seeing a difference. So I remember we had talked. Like I do half marathons from time to time. I haven't done one in over a year.
Okay,
but I run probably like I am ready for a half marathon. Like I could, you know, jump in and do one probably today if I wanted to.
Maybe next month for the Albuquerque half marathon.
Let's do it. I'm game.
I'm so down.
That and the run for the zoo.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right,
so
cool.
down.
You guys heard it here, so I'm gonna call you out if you don't.
So now
go.
we're gonna have to sign up.
Yeah, and dude, so the podcast I did a couple days ago, I haven't yet because my password didn't work or whatever, but I did a hunting one. I've never been hunting.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go do that, and so I'm gonna do a hunt this year. It'll be the first time I've ever done that. So if you want to come, bro, I don't know.
Hey,
that'd
be our first for me too.
Yeah.
I've
okay.
never gone hunting, so.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to listen to the cast because I learned all kinds of shit. I had the dude in there for 2 hours, bro. Just like I was
really?
like, hey, teach me the way, you know, sensei. Where was I going with that? I lost my train. Oh, so when it comes to running, we had talked about half marathons and what is like your PR? You told me some crazy ass numbers. So so my fastest, I'm just gonna throw it out there because yours is faster than mine. My fastest I ever did was in 2013, I think, was an hour and 37 minutes. So that's 13.1. Now what was your
a 1:10:57?
You son of a bitch.
It was super fast. It was stupid fast.
But what? So we used to run track together,
right?
And you were a sprinter, weren't you?
No. I was actually a distance runner. But it's funny because I think running is such a awesome, you know, sport because some people can have some natural skill, you know, at running, but it really is all heart. You know, and how bad do you want it?
Right.
And, you know, and how bad do you want to push yourself? You know what I mean?
It's slow torture.
And it's funny because like I'm glad you brought up running because I think running is like something that to me it's kind of like I think made me who I am because it showed me that you don't have to have a natural ability. You just have to work hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, growing up, baseball, I sucked.
Right.
You know, like volleyball, I sucked. You know, like every sport I played, I sucked. And then like running, I was like, I was running in middle school to lose weight, right? And then in high school, I was like, I'll keep doing it, you know? And I was like, wait, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm actually really good at this,
right.
you know? And I was like, I think I was really good at it because I like to work hard. You know what I mean? I was like, this is all comes down to how bad do you want it and how hard do you want to work at it. And I think, dude, running, I think goes hand in hand with like life, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
dude,
straight
I feel the
up,
same
dude.
way.
Straight up. Like if you want like something that bad, just work for it. You know what I mean? If you want to run a 5-minute mile, shit, it's possible. It's gonna take a lot of work to get there, dude. Oh hell, you ain't gonna run a 5-minute mile if you're weighing more than 155 pounds. You know what I mean? Because you got to be light on your feet. You know. But you know, to get there, if you know, that's a big goal, right? But like, let's say you try to tie that into like, I want to open up my business, you know, and to generate so much in revenue. It's like almost hard to fathom, right? But it's the same thing as running a 5-minute mile. They're both hard to fathom, but they both take a lot of hard work.
I like how you put that, bro.
You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you can't even grasp it, but you know, you got to do certain things to run a 5-minute mile. Like I said, you know, change your diet, train hard, a lot of time, a lot of effort. Right. Same thing with like
make sacrifices, get up early, do shit like that.
You have to make sacrifices. It's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of effort. You know, it's exact same things. So
awesome,
I'm like,
bro.
dude, running and like success, dude, it goes hand in hand to me. You know what I mean? So, and I think I can't do one or the other. Like I gotta keep running and I gotta keep being successful, dude. You know what I mean?
That's why I brought you on, dude, because I feel like you're truly pursuing greatness in your mindset, and that's cool that you said that. I didn't know that you thought in that method because that's exactly how I feel about running. Like running is what powers me. You know what I mean? And I've just recently started adding lifting to my routine as much much because I found that I can actually run longer because I've got more muscle, more glycogen storage, the whole bit, you know. But I've never, you know, I've always looked at guys that lift weights and they got muscle on them, and I was like, that's got to be genetics, you know what I mean?
Right.
But now that I've started to realize, like, it's the same thing. Like, you got to put in the work, you know, and the same work ethic I had behind running, kind of apply it to the gym, and now I'm starting to gain muscle. I'm not big, like you can see, I'm not big.
Yeah,
but you know, like I'm actually seeing it on the scale. You know, like I'm not getting fatter, I'm just getting heavier from the muscle. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I'm able to do more distance and shit like that. Like I did a full marathon, and that fucking kicked my ass.
Oh,
but,
dude.
you know, have you ever done a full marathon?
Yes.
Oh, it's torture,
So
bro.
hard.
Oh my
So
god,
hard.
I did it in toe shoes, the entire thing. Yeah, bro, and like it destroyed me. Like
Really?
I was like, oh my god, it was so hard, and I just wasn't used to running on pavement. But even then, I was lighter than I am now, and I don't struggle as much now as I did then. But I think it's just purely because I was just running. I wasn't lifting as well.
Right.
So it's really showed me, like, you know, I started running to quit smoking cigarettes in 2011. After, you know, track and shit like that, I became a dumbass for a little while, and then, you know, came back around. I got real heavy. So getting into running, it almost helped me finish my college degree.
Nice.
It helped me go from not having a career to now having an IT career. It pushed me so hard. I turned around and started to push on my wife for her to get back into school. Now she's almost done with nursing.
It's all,
you know,
all positive.
It's all,
it all
correlates.
positive, dude, for sure. That's
So
great.
So I think I'd heard, and I could be completely way the fuck off here. I heard that you got into an accident.
Right.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So there was an accident that happened, my junior summer.
Okay.
You know, it involved my dad, my brother, and me. We were actually just left Albuquerque to head south to Mexico for a big family reunion. Mm-hmm. And I mean, before we even got to Los Lunas, you know, the irony, we got in a rollover, you know, somebody hit us. It is what it is. You know, multiple rollovers. We fell off a cliff. You know,
no way.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Bro.
It was wild.
That's crazier than I thought it was.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we ended upside down. I thought we were going to blow up, you know, for sure. I mean, just the fact that we all escaped the accident with lives, our 3 lives.
Yeah.
It's winning, dude.
And you got all your limbs on you, bro?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I broke a leg, but I was like, we're good. You know what I mean? That's why I sat out my senior year and run, you know, in high school, because I couldn't run for like a whole year. But as soon as I was clear to run, you know, I picked it back up, and that's when I got into marathon running. You know, and I think that's why I missed it so much. I was like, dude, you deprived me of running for a year. I was like, well, there's lots of a lot of making up to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, definitely, like I said, I'm grateful that we were able to walk away from it.
But that's cool that, and the reason why I asked that is because it's like, I wondered how much that ever would affect, you know, you in the future. And I'm sure you thought, fuck, I'm like, did you have to learn how to walk again and shit like that?
Oh, no. I just broke my leg, tibula fibula, you know, not bad. The recovery sucked, you know, it was painful. I had surgery, that sucked, you know, that was probably the worst part of it. You know what I mean? My senior year was still probably one of my funnest years of my life. You know what I'm saying? It didn't stop me from having a good time. You know, I was in crutches the whole year, but I still had a great.
That means the girls would come sign your cast and shit.
You know? It was a great conversation starter, right? How did you break your leg? You know, but no, looking forward, you know, I don't like to dwell on the past. You know, I feel like I call myself Iron Man now because there's a piece of iron in my leg. You know what I mean? It is what
that's
it is.
legit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, like, cool.
So that doesn't bother you when you run and shit like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
To this
cool.
date, I've never, you know, I have to, I even forget. I'm like, which leg was broken? I have to look for a scar.
Really?
Like, oh, it was the left one. You know what I mean? Yeah,
That's
so
legit,
straight up.
bro.
Like, dude, I don't even like, it happened. It is, you know, but luckily, like I said, I walked away from it, and shoot, hopefully never again.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, for real. That's cool, man. So this kind of puts all the pieces together for me. So you're athletic, you run a business. What is a just for people that are trying to improve their lives and maybe try to achieve a goal, maybe not as lofty as being a restaurant owner,
right?
But if they're trying to complete anything big, 5-minute mile, they want to, you know, finish that college degree, or even just lose a few pounds. Like, what's you know, real quick, what's a normal routine for you during the day? Like something. And the reason why I asked that is because you're a successful cat. You're somebody that I would think people look up to, you know, and people strive to kind of be like you. You know what I mean? What is a normal day for you? You know, they talk about like how millionaires have this like specific time that they wake up in the morning.
Right.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Right.
So you got your day routine, your morning routine, and you wake up in the morning. You're already starting off with a positive like Edgar attitude. That is innate to you.
Right. So yeah, no, 2 things. So I'd say be positive and believe in yourself.
Okay.
You know, those 2 things, man. Like honestly, you know, everybody is their own person, you know what I mean? But I think if you have those 2 things, man, you can conquer a lot of things. You know what I mean? I think don't let other circumstances affect you. That's why I say stay positive. You know what I mean? If, you know, something bad happened, you know, your coworker didn't show up to work, or, you know, whatever happened, like it is what it is. Yeah. I always say that. It is what it is, dude. Life goes on. Sure. Stay positive. You know what I mean? And believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes to believe in yourself. Like, if you feel like going to the gym improves your self-image, because you believe highly, you think better of yourself, do it. You know what I mean? It is going to take time, to believe in yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, of course. You know what I mean? But I mean, to me, what I've been doing for a few years now is that, I've stayed positive. I believe in myself now, you know what I mean? Because of, like, if you say, morning rituals and stuff, yeah, like I love to go to the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it wakes me up. It keeps me alert all day. It gets me going. You know what I mean? A freak ton of caffeine.
Really? Okay.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And just like that, like I think it's just a mindset, dude. The brain obviously is so powerful. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's just feed it good things. You know what I mean?
So not excess on the alcohol, excess on the caffeine.
The alcohol's fine. It is what it is. Live a little. You know what I mean? I think, like I said, everything in moderation.
That's
know
interesting.
What I mean?
I like how you just put all that. I went for specifics, and you went for you got to keep the mindset. No, yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot. So,
sure.
So you think that's what has led to your success so far in life has been doing that kind of stuff?
Moderation and everything. You know what I mean? Moderation and everything is key. I think happiness. Obviously, I think everybody should strive to be happy.
Yeah.
If you ain't happy, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And if what you're doing is not making you happy, fucking change it.
And I think that's one thing that I apply to here at the restaurant. I tell my employees, like, as much as I love for every single of you guys to work for me, if there's ever a day where you guys don't want to be here or you're not happy anymore, like, I'd rather you not be here. You know what I mean? Because you're not only doing me, a disservice by being here and not wanting to be here, right? But you're doing yourself a disservice. You know what I mean? If you're not happy, it is what it is. It sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we're all different people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you working for Mariscos Altamar anymore, it doesn't make you happy, I totally understand. Yeah. You know what I mean? We all have different lives. You know what I mean?
That's legit. So you're gonna have people coming over here to apply and shit. The way you're talking.
I'm down, dude. I mean, if you want to work here,
are you guys hiring? I guess I could ask that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Always hire. I say we always hire like great people. You know what I mean? Like, if I have people and I have a good vibe off of them, I'm like, dude, I'm not hiring, but I like you. You know what I mean? I get a good vibe from you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, I know our time is limited because my ass was late. That's my bad. Look into the future. I know that you had talked about, you're traveling, you're finding these different things that are kind of, they're what's the word? I guess influencing you on ideas, and you're kind of coming up with some creatives. So what do we see in the future for Edgar and Mariscos or whatever can you talk about anything that you got?
Yeah, no, I think just keeping evolving, you know what I mean? Evolving and just striving to be the best restaurant we can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether, I always strive to be more efficient, better, like I've told you in the sense of our products, you know what I mean? Evolving. So maybe adding new stuff, to the menu, new drinks, it's always changing, you know what I mean? And I think you have to change if you want to stay current, stay on top of the game.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So as far as specifics go, I don't know right now. I mean, like I said, the newest thing we added to our menus would probably be our ceviche nachos for food. And we're doing a collaboration with the Paleta Bar up in Albuquerque. We're doing Paleta margaritas for the summer. That's like a summer item. Totally different. Like, where else can you go in Albuquerque or in Los Lunas to get ceviche nachos and Paleta margaritas?
Right.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Only here.
And to get the Mariscos quality.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I'd like to, Mariscos Altamar to be synonymous with, great quality, great service, best restaurant.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, what, and then you don't have to tell me, but are you looking at opening up another place?
It's not in the cards right now. We're looking into it. I think that if something's meant to happen, it will happen. You know what I mean? Currently, we're very content with the 2 locations, with the volume we're putting out there.
Yeah.
When I say the cards have to be, right, because we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and overextend ourselves. And then the 2, current stores start underperforming or sacrificing quality or, service.
That's
you know
huge.
what I mean? So
sounds like you really got that shit sighted in, bro. That's cool.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, let's focus on what's currently here. You know what I mean? Both stores are doing great. We cannot complain. Let's not drop the ball at all. And, if in the near future it presents itself, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that would be cool is to see you guys, maybe hit like one of those areas you're talking about, like LA or maybe New York. You know what I mean? Because how many of those places have like that? Just your guys' feel, your guys' vibe, you know what I mean? And there are tons of places there, don't get me wrong, and there's Michelin star joints, there's all that.
Of course, yeah.
But there's no place I feel that has this specific flavor. I just think you guys would do well.
For sure. And I think what's funny is that it does feel like you said, you come here and it's like, you do feel like welcomed, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten paid here at the restaurant was just like a few weeks ago. I was mind blown, dude. This older couple came in and they're like, can we talk to the managers? Here I come, right? And they're like, hey, we just wanted to tell you, you know, the food is great, you know, the service is great, but they're like, even if the food was bad and the service, you know, wasn't that great tonight, we'd still come back. And
That's
I was
legit.
Like, what? I was like, why? They're like, because the energy out of this place is like out there.
Oh, yeah.
It is out the roof. They're like very, very quantum.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I like that.
What?
That's an interesting
and
way to
I
put
was
it.
like, no way. And I was just mind blown, you know, because I've been doing a little bit of research, not a lot, on quantum, you know, and waves and energy and stuff like that. And she's like, dude, this place feeds off of some crazy energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, it was like the coolest compliment I've ever gotten paid. Like, dope. And I was like, it wasn't even food related. It was energy related.
Right.
And I was like, dude, how dope
Yeah.
is that? You know what I mean? Like,
and for you guys listening, if you guys ever have a chance to come out here, please do, and make sure that when you come in that you ask for the manager, and the dude will come out and he'll hang out with you. And no matter how noisy it is, how crazy it is, dude is humble as fuck. That's why I brought you on, man, because you're humble as fuck. So I can,
Thanks.
I mean, it's genuine, you know, it's not like you're just trying to, you know, get people's money, and it's not, you know, you're in this for the long haul. And I think that's cool. That's big. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And a lot of it's like, I feel like there's more to come, you know, that's cool. You don't need to let on right now, but I know that there's more to come that you have. And it's purely because, you know, I think that you're seeing that you're capable of more than just what is tangible right now. You know, I think you could be, maybe not you wouldn't own a chain of Mariscos, but I think that you could definitely, you know, do something more in the future. And I can completely understand how you guys are focusing on the two that you have now. For sure. But I think that you have the ability to do that. And, thank you. And purely because of, you know, those types of compliments, you know what I mean? Like quantum energy that moves forward like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So where can we find Mariscos on social media? So
we have an Instagram and a Facebook account. Instagram is Mariscos Altamar. Facebook, same thing. Give us a like, give us a follow for sure. You know, just stay up to date. We like to do, you know, random contests and stuff. You know, post a picture of your drink and we'll give you guys a free order of, you know, food or something, you know, just to keep, you know, current, you know, stay on top of the social media game. Obviously, that's where a lot of this stuff is going, right? And give us a follow, you know, everything that's most current and, you know, new at Mariscos will definitely be on there. So
okay. And you guys don't have a website, or you do?
Oh, we do have a website, Mariscos Altamar, abq.com.
Okay.
You know, go check out our website, you know, our menus on there to see our offerings and stuff like that. And I mean, the best way to come in is obviously come and try it for yourself. You know what I mean? Go to one of our stores. The one in Los Lunas is right off the freeway. And then the one in Albuquerque is right off of cuisine I-40 off the South Ramp.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
they're not hard to get to.
Yeah, for sure. They're both right off the freeway, about 25 miles apart from each other. You know, both restaurants serve the same great food, same great, you know, drinks, and same great service. You know what I mean? So,
same quality too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you guys, if you guys have any comments after the fact, they're all going to be positive. There's not going to be anything negative. I can promise you, I've never had a bad meal here. So
thank you.
Well, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the cast.
Hey, that was fun, dude. I appreciate it. Dude, definitely picked my brains on some stuff. You know what I mean? It gets you to think. You know what I mean? Putting you in front of a microphone, it's like, whoa, how do I answer? You know what I mean? But definitely, you know, it was fun. And I appreciate your time.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do this again, man.
Hey, let's do it.
Next time we'll do
the half marathon, dude. We already said it. So it's on record.
Well, let's do this post. We'll do this after the half, and we'll see what's up. All fucking wasted. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No.
Well, did we say we were going to do a half marathon next month?
What I do want to do in the future, though, even if we try to do it like live or something like that, is maybe do like a food tasting kind of thing.
Okay, let's do it.
I think that would be legit, because then maybe we can strike up some more hungry stomachs. You know,
like, I'm down, dude.
Fuck, that looks good.
Let's do it. Why not? I'm always down to eat. So.
All right, Edgar, I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, awesome.